We're out here at Sand Mountain today, and we're going to find out who the real horsepower king is between the CR500 aluminum frame and this brand new Honda 450. Let's get after it.
I think the 450 is going to win.
If it comes down to suspension, the overall bike, 450 might have a chance. But I'm sticking with the 500.
Hey,
500's got this.
He might beat me,
you want to actually just shoot up
whichever bike he's on.
That way when we're ready to go, you can start your JC.
But I don't know. I think the 500 is just violent. You get all that power quick. And this thing, I think it's just more rideable.
All right, before we get started, we're going to lay down some ground rules. So number one, we have the exact same sand paddle. This is an 18-inch CST Surge. We're going to do one run on the bikes we're on, and then we're going to switch bikes and see what happens.
Fight!
So I went on the 450 and the 500. Kevin wants redemption. He said he got a bad start the first run. So what we're gonna do is the same test, but we're gonna switch lanes. So the 500 is gonna be in the right lane, 450 in the left lane.
Well, that was embarrassing. I've got a little bit of weight on Charles in my body section, but accounting for the bikes, we're both about evenly matched overall. So it really came down to my lack of talent.
Yeah, I feel like the 450 at the end had a little more gap, but when I was going up the sand hill, I was able to click fourth on that. So when I was riding it, it felt like it kind of would creep past the 450 at the end. So, but with them being so close, we want to try a couple more hills.
So now we're gonna do the fingers. If you can see behind me, you can tell by the tracks, not many bikes make it up there. So it's a pretty steep run. To kind of even things up, we're gonna do a rolling start from a fixed point to a fixed end. We're gonna time it, and we're each gonna switch bikes and time it again and compare times. This thing,
She was singing on that one.
this thing has so much power in such a narrow
Yeah.
band. The power beats that thing, but the band is so narrow, if you're not right on it, it just
gotta be
falls off so
perfect.
bad
Falls
on
off.
either
Yeah.
side. That first run on this guy, I was right about here on the seat, and I
Yeah.
couldn't get the front down. I couldn't pull myself far enough forward to get the front back down.
All right, so Charles on the 450 was 16.98. On the 500, he was 17.58, so only a half-second difference. For Kevin on the 450, 18.78, but he was 17.54 on the 500. So his two-stroke time was actually the same as Charles. So, man, that's tough. That's like, did the rider, I mean, I think it really just depends on, did you get your shifts perfectly the whole time? I don't know, man. They're pretty close. Closer than I thought they were going to be.
Oh yeah.
It's cool, though. Well, now we know. If you want to build a 500 two-stroke, it's going to be very competitive with the modern-day four-stroke.
These bikes are so close, you could almost flip a coin to see which one's gonna win. But on this 500, I did shift up to 5th, and I think that hurt me a little bit on the time. So I'm gonna try to keep it in 4th and see what time I get. I think it was a little faster overall, but I was a lot slower over the whoops and everything.
All right, Charles. Your second time on the two-stroke was 17.52. Your first time was 17.58.
That's pretty
So
consistent.
you're only 600ths faster, but you're still about a half second off from the Honda.
That's not bad.
That's pretty
yeah,
consistent.
I think overall, that one's just a little bit easier to ride. Just the power band.
But the half
way the
second
torque
could have
is.
been me hitting it a smidge early, you know what I mean? Like,
Could
it's
be.
tough to tell. But I'm impressed with how even those two bikes are. I thought that 450 was gonna walk away from that thing.
Oh yeah.
What do you think, Kevin? Do you feel validated knowing that your 500 is competitive with a brand new 450?
I'm pretty excited that they're so evenly matched.
That's cool.
It's pretty awesome.
Next stop, you know what we gotta do? We need to take these to a moto track.
We should. All right, so in conclusion, I think the 450 beats the 500 just by a hair, but the same rider could win on either bike. Now, with this, I think the 450 is just a little bit easier to ride. It's got a little more torque in a longer spread. So if you make a slight mistake, you're gonna be fine, where, you know, this 500 has a more narrow power band. So what do you think about that?
Honestly, I felt that this 500, if you're right in the perfect sweet spot of that narrow power band, I felt like this thing made just a little bit more power than that 450. It was so hard to keep it there. You had to be shifting constantly. So I agree that the 450 was definitely easier to ride. And I guess I can cede this race to the 450 winning overall. But they are very, very closely matched.
Yeah, with that being said, I did feel that slight more power in the mid-range with the 500, but you know, with that, you know, which bike overall was funner to ride or put a bigger smile on your face?
I'd say the 500 for sure.
I agree with that. I mean, overall this one's a little easier to ride, but there's just something about a 500 that's super awesome. And if you want to check out the build video we did for that, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe.